an unimaginable tourist destination just a few years ago.
Welcome to Saudi Arabia!
Saudi Arabia. Since 2020, hundreds of influencers have shared their trips to the kingdom. Tourism influencers on Instagram.
C'est vraiment un pays trop beau.
And the most famous personalities.
Tú también. Ve más allá de lo que te imaginas.
In recent years, the country has made great strides. For example, women can drive and travel without a male guardian. Today, Saudi Arabia wants to make an impact on social media, but not on every issue. Expressing yourself online can lead to decades in prison. Some have their freedom of movement severely restricted.
One person I know has ankle bracelet to track him down. It's a tracking device put by the Saudi government.
This is an investigation into silent repression. On Instagram, influencers visiting the country all mention the same account: Visit Saudi. It is the official account of the Saudi Tourism Office. Sometimes the partnership is explicitly mentioned. We spoke to one of these influencers. He went to Riyadh in 2022 for 5 days. The plane tickets and the nights in a luxury hotel were paid for. The influencer wished to remain anonymous, but shared some messages sent by the agency that organized the trip. They were paid $2,000 to share at least 2 Instagram posts and 6 stories promoting the country. A simple tourist visit, but all kept in check.
Your posts and captions must be sent to a staff member for approval.
A practice that surprised the influencer, who's used to working with tourist offices.
I found very strange, because normally you just go and you publish whatever, and they're happy for you to say, "I've visited California," or "visit Italy," or they don't really care.
He also received a guide with a key message.
Ultimately, Saudi is the upcoming global lifestyle hub with an abundance of entertainment, excitement, and experiences, representative of the cultural transformation the country is going through.
A country that is changing and evolving. That's the idea the kingdom wanted to promote by opening up to tourism in 2019. According to the New York Times, Argentinian footballer Lionel Messi received $25 million to convince the world that the country is changing. He appears in this video, which blends promoting tourism and the evolution of society.
Tú también. Ve más allá de lo que te imaginas.
A vast effort to modernize the country's image, in line with the wishes of Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who has ruled the kingdom since 2017.
70% من الشعب السعودي أقل من 30 سنة. وبكل صراحة لن نضيع 30 سنة من حياتنا في التعامل مع أي أفكار متطرفة. سوف ندمرهم اليوم وفورا.
The Saudi people took the bait, believing in this new freedom. And the trap closed in on them. Manal Al Otibi is a 30-year-old fitness coach. She has posted about her life on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, all very popular apps in Saudi Arabia. She was a feminist voice, celebrating that wearing an ayaba, the traditional Saudi loose-fitting robe, was no longer mandatory.
كيف أوريكم حاجة؟ إيش نهاية الشيء اللي الناس يفرضون عليك أنت مو مقتنع فيه؟ فبوريكم بس خليكم دقيقة معي.
ما بتقدر أبدا تلغيني بدك تسمعني
But she was arrested. In 2024, she was sentenced to 11 years in prison for calling an end to male guardianship on social media, publishing videos of herself wearing indecent clothes, and going to the shops without wearing an abaya. Men are not immune either. Osama Khaled, a 31-year-old Saudi, was arrested in 2020. He contributed to Wikipedia, the online encyclopedia, under the pseudonym Osamak. He had created 261 entries, including the right of women to drive in Saudi Arabia, and a series of biographies of human rights activists. A bitter irony, he also created the Wikipedia page about Al-Khayr prison, the prison where he is detained today. His entries displeased the authorities. He was sentenced to 32 years in prison for provoking public opinion. And anyone offended by this need be wary. Salma AlShahab, mother of 2 children, was sentenced in 2023 to 27 years in prison for posting tweets like this.
Freedom for the prisoners of the patriarchal system and shame and dishonor to the jailer.
How many people are in this situation? It is impossible to know. Some NGOs believe it could be hundreds. Peaceful citizens who are nearly always convicted of terrorism. In Saudi Arabia, the law combating crimes of terrorism and its financing is vast. A mere disturbance of public order constitutes an act of terrorism. The anti-cybercrime law, which is equally vague, is also regularly used to imprison internet users. It punishes the production, preparation, transmission or storage of material impinging on public order, religious values, or public morals. To get the message across effectively, in spring 2023, the government channel Al Saudia broadcast an interview with a repentant user.
هل كنت تتوقع أنه ممكن تغريدة توديك السجن؟
لا.
لو رجع بك الزمان إلى الوراء، هل كنت ستكتب هذه التغريدة؟
لا، طبيعي لا، أنا اكتشفت أنها تجرم.
وأنت ما كنت تدري أنها جريمة؟
لا، ما كنت أدري أنها جريمة. بعدها صارت جريمة، اكتشفت أنها تجرم، تثقيفهم حول الجرائم الإلكترونية، الجرائم الإلكترونية ما هي بتويتر فقط.
End of interview. They don't reveal the content of the tweet. But the message is clear. Whoever utters the slightest criticism will be punished. These practices prompted experts at the United Nations Human Rights Council to write to Saudi Arabia. In 2020, a letter signed by several special rapporteurs on human rights issued a stern warning to the Saudi authorities regarding the law on combating crimes of terrorism and its financing. They believe it appears to be more aimed at limiting fundamental freedoms and basic principles of international human rights law, as well as stifling civil society, rather than effectively countering terrorism. In 2023, a new letter was sent concerning the arrest of Manal Al Otibi, the young fitness coach, which appears to constitute an express act of retaliation against her social media activism for the advancement and defense of women's rights. The UN is concerned about Saudi internet users. And yet, at the same time, the United Nations allowed Saudi Arabia to host the IGF, the Internet Governance Forum. This World Summit for the Governance of the Internet was held in Riyadh in December 2024. It offered 100 workshops, including breaking barriers, empowering women in Internet network. Defending voices and expression in Africa and the Middle East. And judges on human rights online. 1,000 participants from 160 different countries gathered. Less than 10 kilometers away from Al-Malaz prison. This is where internet users, like Manal Al Otibi, are detained. A ludicrous situation denounced by the NGOs who took part in the IGF. On the ground, Joey Shea from Human Rights Watch recorded a video to raise awareness of the prisoners' fate.
Just because we are here does not mean that global civil society or even indeed Saudi civil society is welcome. We have been documenting that Saudi authorities have detained dozens of people for peacefully expressing themselves online. One case in particular,
the activist herself was then censored. On the IGF YouTube page, excerpts from the workshop she led at the forum.
I cover Saudi Arabia for Human Rights Watch.
Was simply deleted and replaced by a white screen.
And have a moment of silence for them. So I want to speak about.
It states that she was violating the IGF Code of Conduct, which prohibits attacks on a person or a government. We have recovered the original video.
So I want to speak about Mohammed.
She mentions the names of the imprisoned internet users.
And all the names that I'm going to be saying, just to note, are individuals who are detained in relation to expressing themselves online, either through Twitter or X or other platforms. So Mohammed and Asad Al-Ghamdi, who are both...
This wasn't the only incident the NGOs had to face. Amnesty International activists wanted to hand out flyers with an image of Manal Al Otibi. They didn't have time to do so.
After just 2 hours, the IGF confiscated the flyers.
But despite the obstacles, this campaign may have finally paid off. Two months later, Saudi Arabia released many prisoners discreetly. Salma AlShahab, the mother of two, was released on the 10th of February 2025, after her sentence was reduced from 27 to 4 years in prison. Prisoners freed, but not yet free. They are still deprived of their freedom of expression and movement. After their sentence, most of them are banned from leaving the country. It is explicitly written on their sentence. We have obtained one of these sentences.
Mrs. X is banned from travelling outside the kingdom after completing her prison sentence for an equally long period.
A prisoner who has been sentenced to 5 years in prison is not allowed to travel for the next 5 years. But in reality, this ban perpetuates itself indefinitely. To make sure they do not escape, Some are even required to wear an electronic tag, according to several NGOs. A Saudi exile, whose relative is in this situation, shared their story with us anonymously.
One person I know has ankle bracelet to track him down. It's a tracking device put by the Saudi government after he was released and after he completed the sentence. There was one time when this person even used a boat in the sea to just have fun. And then once he returned, there were a lot of calls from the authorities asking about his whereabouts and why he used the boat and why he went close to the border. They were just making sure that he's not fleeing the country.
For the Saudi authorities, banning former prisoners from leaving the country is their way of silencing them. As explained by Ibrahim Al-Mahdi, who lives in the US. His father, imprisoned in Saudi Arabia for his tweets until March 2023, is still under a travel ban.
The reason why they have him under travel ban to have a full control of what's coming out of him in either expressing or speaking or meeting. I mean, they are fearing that if he moved to the States or go back to his home country, the United States, they would fear that he would go to intermedia or he will start some tweeting, although they had our guarantees that none of these can happen.
Despite these releases, it seems nothing has changed in terms of freedom of expression.
My father, he won't try to bother the Saudi system due to the severe consequences that he faced for expressing his freedom of speech. People who usually have been released from the Saudi jail, they don't go to the media immediately or they don't write any tweets.
According to NGOs, dozens, if not hundreds of people are still in prison for expressing themselves on social media. There is a Saudi body responsible for defending human rights, the Saudi Human Rights Commission. Its mission, protecting and promoting human rights in all fields. But in reality, as can be seen on social media, it mainly promotes Saudi Arabia, presenting it as a human rights bastion.
Since the beginning, human rights are in our hearts and minds. A flag that stands for justice, rights, and a nation that protects human dignity.
When contacted, the Commission did not provide a response, particularly regarding a frightening figure. The number of death sentences under Mohammed bin Salman is record-breaking. In 2024, with 345 executions, Saudi Arabia ranked third in the world, behind China, whose exact figure is unknown, and Iran. A tragic death toll, far from the idea of a modern and reforming country boasted by Mohammed bin Salman.